And it's Chevelle time again. So this week, I spent a little time on this car yesterday. I did the exhaust system, which actually fit quite well. I had to do a little bit of work on the left side pipe where it meets the header. Because I moved the engine 3/16 of an inch, it appears that it threw the geometry off for the exhaust system. For the most part, if I hadn't done the 3/16 shim on the driver's side, because the header was too close to the steering shaft, it would have probably been a 15-minute exhaust. That's how quick it went together, the Flowmaster system. So I did a bunch of stuff here. We'll pop the camera off in a little while and go through it. But I had to get really creative with that left side pipe. And here's, I'm just going to walk away from the camera a second. Just find what I used so I can explain it. So this is the shape of the pipe that I ended up using for to fit the exhaust to the header, and I had to modify this a little bit. It was too short here, so I just put an extension on there, and it came out actually pretty good. Also, I had to cut this down a little bit, and basically I just had to make it work, and it fit perfectly on there. It looks like it belongs there. This is really a pipe for the tailpipes, but I'm not going to be using tailpipes on this car because it's too much of a project to go up and over that rear. And I did it, but didn't like the way it looked. It looked like, well, I guess, I don't know how it looked. I just didn't like it. So I'm going to do turn downs on the muffler. So it's a very simple exhaust. Comes off the headers to the X pipe to two mufflers on the back, and then I'm going to put two turn downs on there. I got one on there now. The ones that they gave me weren't really turn downs. They were I would say, I'm not sure what the name of the tip would be, but like a baloney cut. That's probably the best word. It was like a baloney cut tip and not enough turn down. So we're going to get some turn down on there, and that'll be that. It's very simple. That was the main thing that I did yesterday, because I did have to work, so I spent a little time on the exhaust. Wanted to get that together. I phased the rotor, put the cap on, and I started running the plug wires, and that's all coming along. I stayed here a little bit late last night because I was in and out of work, plus coming back here and doing this, and I just kind of got tired. I was like, you know what, tomorrow's another day. So I'm going to finish up all the plug wires. I'm waiting on plug wire separators, and we'll get that all nice and neat and make it look like you know, the way it should look, instead of just a sloppy mess. Because as you know, I hate wires, can't stand wires. But so little by little, I think we're getting ready to turn that key and start this. I spent a little time also on just figured out my cover for this. Earl's makes a nice cover that's going to fit on there properly, and I just got to figure out my hose ends. Now I'm only going to do the top hose end braided. The bottom hose is way too many compound curves, and you know, the covering just wouldn't really work out well. And as you know, the bottom hose actually is for a Ford van, if I remember correctly. It's the stock one that belongs on here, which we talked about this before, and I have it here someplace. Where it is right now, I don't know. Maybe I already put it in storage. But it's the right shape and everything, but the end that goes on the water pump is too small on the hose. So I had to find something that worked. I basically just went through the Gates catalog. I saw something that had the same similar shape. It had the right sizes. Ordered it, took a chance, it worked. So I'm probably going to clamp that up today. So for the most part, we're really close. Just almost ready to turn the key, fired up, and hopefully it runs well. So I got to go through the computer to put all the settings in there properly. And no sense doing that today. I'll do that just before I fire it up. We got 5 gallons of race fuel in the tank. My level gauge for some reason isn't working with the aftermarket system that I put in there, so I'm going to have to see. Maybe it's not grounded very good. I'm not really sure, but I'm going to investigate that today also. And I'm just going to do a manual brake bleed. I don't think I really need to, but just to soothe my curiosity, I just want to, so this way I can get the wheels back on, get this back on the ground, because for the most part, we're done underneath. You know, the exhaust is finalized. I just got to fill the rear end up. And I got to get some oil in the compressor, in the AC system. I got to get some oil in here. And then I'm going to vacuum this down, so this way we can make sure we have no leaks before we go ahead and fill it. And I also got to figure out how much I need to put in here with the system that I have. So, I mean, I can do it by the gauges, but if there's a recommendation or a spec, I'd much rather use that. Works out much better. So basically, I need to get the cooler fans basically wired up, and that could be a today project because I don't have a lot going on here today. And like I said, we're getting really close. Hopefully, you know, next weekend I'll turn it, it'll fire, and that'll be my opening video on this one. And then we can start winding this one down. We'll get back into the interior a little bit, and we'll get into the vinyl top and the headliner and get that interior buttoned up. But other than that, you know, we're there. It took a little while to get here because of my time constraints, but we're here. So I'm going to go. Okay, so a little bit of that video might be a little messed up because the my SIM card decided to run out of space. So it'll be a little bit of an abrupt ending on the first part that I did, but I just formatted it. We're back to normal. So a couple of things. Like I finally put all the plugs in, and the headers don't give you a lot of room to put plugs in, so I had to, I ordered a couple of these sockets. I ordered like 3 of them, so this way, in case I cut them and made a mistake, I had another one to try without having to wait. So I took off approximately a good ½ inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch, and I really shortened this, and it worked out well. So let me grab a plug just to show you how deep it goes in. The only reason I still have this plug out is because I still have the Whistler in the #1 position, which I'm going to pull out today. So basically, it'll go in just enough to grab and just enough to tighten. As you can see some of the hex of the plug still. So, you know, as you're doing the, and also it's got the little rubber piece in there that kind of holds the plug, and that's a must-have, because without that it would be way too difficult to try to turn it and hold it on there at the same time. Because like I said, you have minimal space. You know, it's for someone that's never done it before, you would look at it and it would be almost an impossibility to get it done. But you know, through all the years of constantly having to make tools to make things work on these hot rods, I'm used to it. So I looked at it, I figured it out, and luckily I only had to cut this one socket, so I still have 2 of these that I just threw in my toolbox. And I just bought an inexpensive one's gear wrench. I mean, it's really not inexpensive, it's not junk. The gear wrench is pretty decent, but I didn't want to buy pure junk, so I just bought the gear wrench once and modified it, and it worked out well. I'm probably just going to take a little file today to clean it up a little. But alright, let's take the camera off, let's take a quick look around and you know, see the things that we did. I'm going to try to give you an exhaust shot from underneath, and that should be fun, because like I said, I'm not a camera guy. Okay, weekly disclaimer, I'm not a cameraman. Alright, I don't know if I showed you this last week, but I made the bracket and I attached that, and that stiffened up the AC hose quite well. I attached the larger clamp just to kind of harness these so they're not shaking around as you know, as we're driving. And you know, just little odds and ends, and trying to get things done. As you can see, I just got the wires, a few of the wires. plugged into the distributor cap and just kind of laying where they got to go. And I got the separators coming. Those won't be here until tomorrow, so I'll have those on by next week. I still have the wiring here for the fans. I just got to figure out how I want to run that, so this way it doesn't look like crap. And the bottom hose, as you can see, is on there. It looks like it's touching here. It's not, but we're going to put a little bit of a guard on there so this way we don't have any issues, because with things vibrating, you'll blow through that hose pretty quick. And let's see if I can give you a shot of the exhaust. Alright, this should be fun. Okay, just deal with me here, trying to get underneath. But there's the exhaust. As you can see, the mufflers are back there. And here's the pipe that I had to make. So I got it coming into the adapter here, and coming back, you see the shape there. And what I had to do is I had to put an extension in here, so I got double clamps there, so it doesn't really look bad. The other section, you can see it's kind of basically stock. That's the pipe that came with it. I just had to cut it to fit, and it worked out well. We're nowhere near the drive shaft because the pipes, as you can see right there, kind of drop down, and the shaft is way up there. Once we load the back wheels, the shaft will actually go up a little higher. So it worked out well. The mufflers are, for the most part, hard to see on the camera, pretty much level and even with each other, but there is a difference in the pipe. For instance, the passenger side pipe is straighter than the driver side pipe, and I couldn't really get this X pipe really centered. I centered it, but it just was not going to work on either side. It would have been a major production to make it work. But like I said, we're not interfering with anything. It's an exhaust. It's in there. It's solid. These clamps are great. The band clamps, something that we use on heavy trucks all the time. But it works out well with the band clamps, because once you pop them off, you could take this exhaust apart, with minimal effort. And I just got to come up with the clamps for this here. I guess originally I was going to TIG these together, but because I have it on the vehicle, it's going to be impossible to TIG up top. And to pull it off again, to do that, I'm not doing that. So I'll come up with a clamp here. I have these pretty tight. They're not moving or anything like that. I'm not sure if there's actually a spec to tighten those two, like a torque specs that will basically tell you, hey, you're there. So I'm going to look into that. But right now they're super tight. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. Should have no leaks. This has got the Bell style adapter right there. And so for the most part, the underneath is looking good. Like I said, I'm not a camera guy, so please forgive some of the crappy camera work. Alright, let's go ahead and put this back up on the stand and finish up. Alright, so as you can see, guys, I'm really tired in this video today. I did stay out here a little too long last night. A lot of it was doing a little bit of research. Like I said, the exhaust went together pretty quick. If I didn't have to do that mod on that one pipe, I probably could have had that exhaust in, done, finished, called it a day in 15-20 minutes. That's how well that exhaust fit. It used existing holes in the back to hang the mufflers. I had to enlarge them to a 1/2 inch, which was no big deal. It was literally 2 minutes worth of work. I hung the mufflers, and then I moved forward to the pipe. I put the pipe on top of my jack. I jacked it up into place. I fit the right side fairly quick, maybe 10 minutes worth of mods to that side. I just had to kind of mock it up, figure out where to cut, a little guesswork, but the first cut was good. Everything fit. I did have to spread it, and basically I used a hydraulic spreader, and I'll take part of it out here to show you. And this is made by a company called Vevor. A lot of companies make them. Vevor has good pricing on this. It was like less than $300. So basically, just to give you a general idea, you know, you just kind of shove this in the pipe. There's an extra piece in here. There's a sleeve in here that another part goes into, which I don't have here. I actually still have it on the tool. So the part goes in there, spreads this, spreads that, and you know, gives you the spread of the pipe to give you the flange that you need. And that basically goes right in here. Here, let me put it in for you guys so you can see it. So this unscrews. And you got to make sure you load these up pretty well with a good film of grease on them, so this way it doesn't get stuck in the pipe. And you know, for an inexpensive tool, it is a quality tool. I have another one of these at the shop that I use almost on a daily basis for exhaust work, and you know, wherever I need to. So you just take the assembly I showed you, you drop it in there, square up. Ooh, look at that! I'm dropping things again. And this is going to screw in here. It's a little slippery because I leave these lubricated so they don't rust. Rust is your enemy when it comes to this kind of stuff, because everything has to, you know, basically spread, retract, and should be able to easily be pulled out. Okay, so basically, I'll get a piece of pipe too while we're at it. So your goal is to end up with a flange. See how it's a little bit bigger? And that's your goal. So basically, it goes right in there like that. That's too loose. So we're going to tighten that up a bit. And by tightening this, it basically begins to spread the fitting there. That's still loose. It's starting to open now. Probably now, see, that's too tight. Back it off a bit. It's a little too tight. Get a little squeeze, and you can actually tighten it, you know, with the pipe. You know, just kind of do one of these and get it nice and tight. So I'm in there, and then I have a foot pump, a hydraulic pump that sends hydraulic fluid through here. This sucks in, and as it sucks in, that wedge that's holding the die begins to just spread out. And then what you want to do is you got to back. You don't really have to back off. You just release, and at that point, this is bigger, so it's release, just slide it out. But you see these little cracks in here, these little sections. A lot of times you'll get a little dimple in the pipe. So what you got to do, if you have a dimple here, you want to put it back on the rounded section and just give it a little squeeze just to kind of round it off, and you'll end up with a perfect, you know, a perfect opening, perfect round opening. And these are great tools, but you know, you can go out and buy a big exhaust bender and all that, spend like 10 grand, but why? This $300 tool does the same damn thing. And you don't need a ton of room to store it. And it comes with a really cool steel case, so it's well protected. And like I said, it's a great tool. Great tool to have in your arsenal, especially if you're doing like all these little hot rod projects. Comes in handy for a lot of things. And I got mine from, and again, I pay for everything, no one gives me anything, but I got mine from Vevor. Vevor is a great tool source for inexpensive tools, and believe it or not, it's actually, the quality is there. I have several of Vevor's products, including the mag drill, that I have a professional mag drill at the shop that cost me almost $3,000. Actually, I think it was more. It was $3,500. And I have the V-bore drill that cost me $300. And I got it on sale, so it was like $240 something. And side by side, you know, you got to get the good drill bits, the good, you know, the Hogan bits. Side by side, they work the same. Longevity, I don't know. I've only had it a year, but it's still working. I mean, I use it a lot, and it's actually sitting right down there. I got it all boxed up, so I can't really pull it out at the moment. I got stuff around it, but you know, and also the one thing I like about the V-bore is it has an RPM adjustment, so you could really fine-tune your adjustment based on the drill size that you have, the hod size that you have on there. So that's a big plus, whereas mine at the shop is only kind of like an on and off, high-low. And like I said, just because you pay a little less money for something doesn't mean it's garbage. I mean, I have V-bore stuff that's probably a good 5 years old, and I use all my tools every day. I mean, and even some of the specialty stuff that you would think you only gonna use it once or twice. Not true. I use all my tools almost every day. There's always some type of a project, some type of a modification. There's always something that you need to do, and you know, you can't always buy the $1 million tool, which, you know, at my truck shop, I try to buy the proper tool. I try to get the name brand, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes you need stuff in a pinch, and you got to figure out, do I wait 2 weeks for the right tool that I really want, or do I wait 2 days or a day for an inexpensive tool that's going to get me through this job? And a lot of times you'll find you get that inexpensive tool, and it's like, I don't really need that expensive one. This one is doing great. So you just keep using it, and you know, this way you don't have a ton of money sitting in a tool, whereas you have little money in the tool that you purchased because you needed it, and it's still making you the same amount of money at the end of the day, still accomplishing the same job. So, you know, not everything has to be Snap-on, Mac, or Matco, or Craftsman. Not everything has to be that. I mean, I'm a Snap-on freak. I love my Snap-on tools. I love all my wrenches, ratchets, sockets. I'm not a fan of the electric Snap-on stuff. I feel that it's very lightweight and you don't feel fatigued when you use it, but I don't believe the battery longevity is there. Not very happy with that part of the Snap-on. And you know, but the hand tools, especially the wrenches and screwdrivers, I can't think of ever using any other brand except my Snap-on tools. I have other brands, but especially the screwdrivers, the Phillips screwdrivers, something about a Snap-on screwdriver fits, it works, it doesn't round things off, you know, it's just not junk. It's really a nice screwdriver, and I got tons of those. I love them. And again, the sockets, thin, strong, and fit everywhere. The 1/4 inch sets, again, thin, strong, and you can do some serious work with a 1/4 inch set when you have to. But again, I'm a Snap-on freak, and that's what I go with for hand tools. But other things, sometimes you just got to get what you got to get. If it works out, guess what? You saved a ton of money. You're going to make money with that tool, and it's always going to be there when you need it. So that's about it, guys. So today I'm going to just kind of finish up my spark plugs. Maybe I'll fill that rear. I think I have rear fluid. If not, then that'll be a next week project. And if I could get one of my sons to help me today, I'll probably just do a quick manual bleed and start getting the wheels back on. So I guess if you could, please like, subscribe, comment, and you know, we'll see you next week. Have a good weekend, whatever's left of it, and safe one.